בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. The subject of the shiur is Havdalah. Okay, so where is Havdalah originated from? So I'm going to bring two sources. The first source, and that's the main source for the Havdalah, we learned it from the Gemara Masechet Brachot. Daf Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph, that means page 33, folio 1. And Hazal tell us there something very interesting. Bitchila kvarua batfila. Hazal tell us that at the beginning, it's been instituted for us to say Havdalah and a tefillah. Tefillah is Amidah. That means Tfilat Shmona Esrei. Where do we do Havdalah in Tfilat Shmona Esrei? In Atah Honen La'adam Da'at. We're adding up Atah Honantanu. Nachon? So at the beginning, they instituted for us to say in a tefillah. He'ashiru, that means when the Jewish people become a bit more wealthy, that they can afford to do Havdalah on a glass of wine. Keva'u ala kos. Hazal tell us that we obligated, then they change the law, and they say that you're obligated to do it on a glass of wine or grape juice. Hazru ve'anu. That means that the Jewish people return back and they become poor. Rabotai, we're talking during the time of the Second Temple. Okay? When the Jewish people become poor, keva'ua betfilah. Again, they institute that we should do it and a tefillah and tefillat amidah. Vehem omrim. We'll see who's they. They say, hamavdil betfilah tzech she'avdil ala kosh. Later on, they make a decree that when we do the Havdalah, we're obligated to do it number one in a tefillah, in a amidah, in anta honen la'adam da'at. And then also we obligate to do it on a glass of wine. So from here we see that the main source come from the Gemara, Masechet Brachot, Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph, 33, folio 1. There's another source to it, the Gemara in Masechet Psahim, Kuf Yud Gimel Amud Bet, that means 113, folio 2. Hazal tell us, Shlosha minohale olam haba. There's three people that merit to get a place in the world to come. Hadar be'eretz Yisrael, a person that lives in Eretz Yisrael. Hamegadel bno letalmud Torah, a person that educates his kids, okay, to study Yiddishkeit, to become a religious person. Ve'hamavdil ala yain b'motzei Shabbat, and a person that doing Havdalah in Motzei Shabbat. That means that in Motzei Shabbos he's doing Havdalah after Shabbos finish. So we see from here that a person should do Havdalah at home. Why am I doing that show? And I tell you, quite often I see people after Shabbos finish, they're standing up, they're doing Havdalah here. That's not lechatchila. Lechatchila, a person should do Havdalah at home. That's b'di'avad, for those bachelor people or those that unmarried people that they can rely on it. You should do Havdalah to your wife and to yourself and to your kids at home. People can't rely on that Havdalah. Who instituted the Havdalah? Anyone have any idea? So I tell you, Anshe Knesset Agdolah. Who's Anshe Knesset Agdolah? That's the member of the Great Assembly. Who they are? Anyone know who was the member of the Great Assembly? Huh? Sanhedrin. Let's see. So who was the Sanhedrin? First of all, it wasn't exactly the Sanhedrin. It was a different group. But let's put it together. Let's put it in perspective. The member of the Great Assembly, it's a group of prophet, and sages that lived during the time of Ezra and Nehemiah. That's happened after the destruction of the first temple, just before the building of the second temple. That was the member of the Great Assembly. And they instituted for us, number one, all the Seder of the Tefillah. How do we daven? So the Siddur that we have today, they instituted. The Mahzorim, everything that we have, they instituted. And all the different law that we have, they instituted. So the member of the Great Assembly, they instituted for us to say Havdalah. Now, if they instituted, we have to ask ourselves, is it a positive command from the Torah, or is a positive command a rabbinical positive command? We have to understand. So on that, there is a big mahloket. And the mahloket go like this. According to the Rambam, the Maimonite, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, he born 882 years ago in the city of Cordova in Spain. And he say in his book, in chapter 29, okay, regarding the law of the Shabbat, and he say in Halacha Aleph is law number 1. And the Rambam wrote, Mitzvat aseh min Torah. It's a positive command from the Torah, okay? Lekadesh et Shabbat bidvarim. To sanctify the Shabbos. Listen what he said, to sanctify the Shabbos with certain things. So we know, how do you sanctify? When you take a cup of wine and you sanctify the Shabbos, you do Kiddush. Nachon, Leslie, you're the chef of the wine. By the way, I'm trying to publicize you. It's going to be all over the world. Okay. So how do we sanctify? By wine. Okay, and then he continue and say, the Rambam continue, I'm just skipping a little bit, okay? And the Rambam say, Tzarich lezochro beknisato. A person obligated to remember the Shabbos when Shabbos entering on us. Okay? Vebeitziato. And when the Shabbos leave us. So from here we see that we obligated, according to the Rambam, to do Havdalah. It's a positive command from the Torah. The Rambam continue and say, Bekiddush bayom, a person have to do a kiddush during the day, like we do, okay? Hu bi'itziato b'havdalah, also. That means that the person obligated to say kiddush when Shabbos coming on, and when Shabbos leave. And that's what we do, a kiddush. Yes, Simon?
Yeah, okay. Can I do the Havdalah even if I'm alone at home? There's no number, like in Yan is
Yes. So,
there's no limit of
you're asking for you for self, personally, or you're asking for a woman? There's a difference.
Maybe at home they...
Who's at home? Who?
My wife and children, maybe they went like in Pretoria and...
They left you and they're gone to a party. They have to go to a party.
Then I'm alone.
You by yourself, you're obligated to do by yourself.
Okay, even if I'm alone.
Even if you by yourself at home, you're obligated to do Havdalah. Okay? But what I said at the beginning of the show, why am I done this show? This show is thanks to Victor. Victor spoke to ask me a halachically question about Havdalah, and I said I'm going to do. Because many people on Motzei Shabbos standing here and doing Havdalah, and they don't go home and do Havdalah. They think that they done Havdalah, they are Tzayidei Chova. What about the wife? What about the kids? Do you understand? That's the main reason. And many people come, and they think that the wife and the kids are second grade. Has v'shalom. You obligated to do Shabbat Havdalah? Your wife also obligated to hear it. They're not second grade. Let's continue. So from the Rambam, we're learning that the Havdalah, it's a positive command from the Torah. Ado, the Rosh. Sorry?
Where did you get that from?
Because he said, mitzvat aseh min Torah.
Yeah, but you said, where does it come from?
Sorry?
Where does it come from?
Wait. Where does it come from? The Rambam, by the way, let me just finish and I'll answer you, okay? The Rosh, Rabbeinu Asher. Who was Rabbeinu Asher? Rabbeinu Asher ben Yehiel. He born 767 years ago in Germany. And he was also a Rishon. You know what is a Rishon? And him, and many of the rest of the Paskin, that Havdalah is a positive, it's a rabbinical positive command. They don't agree with the Rambam. So many of the Poskim, and that's what the majority of the Poskim Paskin, that Havdalah, it's a rabbinical positive command. Now, you must understand, today, all the halachot that we have today, how do we paskin? Very good question that you ask. It's according to the Rambam, Harosh, Ve'arif. They the three Amudei Hora'ah, that everyone go according to them. And that's the Shulchan Aruch and the Rama going according to them. They was Rishonim. They lived during the 800 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? 800, close to 1,000 years ago. And we paskin according to them. Because they look at the laws, and they brought all the laws from the Gemara, and that's how we're doing it. You understand? Okay. So now we see that there is a mahloket, and most of the paskin that Havdalah today, it's rabbinical, positive Kabbalah. Why do we do Havdalah? Why is it so important to do Havdalah? Anyone have any idea? So, we have to understand that when Shabbat departed on us, we obligated to indicate it with words. Hazal tell us that you obligated to indicate that Shabbat is now departing on us, leaving us. Okay, and how do we do that? By saying Kiddush. So we obligate to say it by word, to mention to us. That means we have to understand that the holy Shabbos and the holy festival leaving us. When I say Havdalah, sorry, it's my mistake, we have to understand, it's also referring to Yamim Tovim. You know, when Yom Tov is finished, we also do Havdalah. Now, I'm going to go through the order of the Havdalah. So if you look at the Havdalah, the order of Havdalah have 4 brachot. The final bracha, I'm not going to focus on it so much. Not that Chas v'Shalom it's not important. It's very important. But the order of the 4 bracha, it's we saying Hamavdil. That we're separating, basically, or we're saying that now we're departing from the Holy Shabbos and we're moving to the normal weekday. So, first of all, we're starting with Birkat Borei Pri HaGefen, that we're saying the blessing on the cup of wine. Okay, so we have to understand that the most important mitzvah is to do it on wine. And if a person can't drink the wine, if it's difficult for him, so you go to Leslie and ask him to order for him a special wine, a weak wine. If that's not, ask Leslie to order for you grape juice. But what's happened if a person gone on holiday, and where he is in holiday, he forgot to take with him wine or grape juice, and there is no grape juice. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's happened. It can happen. So, if a person doesn't have wine and does not have grape juice, there is a concept that's called Hamar Medina. Hamar Medina. What is Hamar Medina? Hamar Medina is a drink. It's a drink that, how would I say it? It's a very important drink in a country. For example, beer. You can do Havdalah on a beer, and that's considered Hamar Medina. Simon, don't look at me like this. That's only if you don't have wine and you don't have grape juice. It's not lehatchila. It's only if you don't have. Now, Hamar Medina, I don't want to get into it. There is a lot of halachot into it. I'm just going to explain it very briefly. Hamar Medina, some of the poskim say that you even can do it on tea. That important drink, it's considered tea. Some people say Coke. You understand what I'm saying? And some people say vodka. But the problem becomes, can you drink rov shel kos, that means the majority of the cup, with one shot? That means, can you drink 87 or 84 grams, to be accurate, 84 milligram of that liquid? I don't think that I can drink vodka one shot. Beer is more, I think that beer is much lighter because there's not so much alcohol. But from here we see that there's a lot of opinion in Hamar Medina. Sorry, Ivan? For you it's nothing. For you a bottle of whiskey is nothing. Hamar Medina.
How much do you actually have to drink?
That's what I say, 84 milligram. That means if you take a disposal, and I check this halacha, you take a disposal cup, those plastic cup. What is what is 84 grams? It's just over, it's almost a half. That's 84 grams. You understand? Or 3/4 of that. Because it's a very small cup.
But I mean, when you say Kiddush, how much are you supposed to have?
Okay, so that you have to drink also 84 grams in one shot. But grape juice is easy. You know what I'm saying? Also wine is easy. 84 milligrams is nothing. How much is 84 milligrams? Is it a tot? Is it a tot? More than a tot? Double tot?
4 times.
Double tot. That's a double tot. 84
That's lots.
84 milligrams. That's it. That's the size. Nachon? It's not a lot.
Would Kiddush got to have a mouthful for the Kiddush?
A full mouth is 84 milligrams. Revi'it.
Because normally for Pesach we talk about
Revi'it. How much is Revi'it? Revi'it yain, 84 milligrams. It's not more than that.
like a rov course.
Yeah, rov
So it's
kusot.
half, like more than half of that.
That's rov course. Depends which cup you're drinking. You have to understand, Revi'it, that's what you have to drink. You follow? Remember that, 84 milligrams. So we see from here that, sorry, there's a question?
Pesach is the same.
Pesach is the same. Yeah, Revi'it.
For the Kiddush is more than for the...
Little bit more. It's not such a... So if you drink 100, it's nicht gefährlich. What difference does it make? It's only, anyway, we'll see that, let me make it. A woman not allowed to drink the Kiddush, the Havdalah wine. You know that?
Yeah.
We'll speak about it, and we'll give you ideas why later on in the show. So you have to drink anyway most of the Kiddush, because most of your kids, if not all your kids, they're out of the house. So you drink all the wine yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Only if you have your kids visiting, so you share it with the boys. Women not drinking.
If it's a diabetic person or something.
Okay, in a case of diabetic, it's a different issue. It's a different issue.
That's my issue.
You know what I'm saying? It's a different issue. We'll speak about it later. So we see that we obligate to do Kiddush. We obligate to do it with wine, lehatchila, or with grape juice. But in a case that a person don't have wine or grape juice, he can do it on Hemar Medina. Hemar Medina, it's important liquid. For example, a beer. You know what I'm saying? It's not an issue. Then we're doing the Birkat Besamim. Okay? Our sages institute for us to smell the spices. Why is it so important to smell the spices? Now, in a bracha of Besamim, you know there is 3 different brachot. Did you know that? There is Borei Atzeh Besamim, Asbe Besamim, and Mineh Besamim. You understand? Everyone understand? If there is question, please ask. No? Okay, so you understand. So, Hazal institutes for us to do the brocha of Besamim dafka when Shabbat departed. Why? That Hazal tell us when Shabbat come in, we get the extra soul. That's called Neshama Yetera in Hebrew. The extra soul. I'm sure that you all hear about it. And that soul gets so happy on Shabbat. And as Shabbat departs, that soul feel very uncomfortable. As a matter of fact, feel very upset. So the neshama that there is inside our body, that special soul, gets so upset, so depressed. So Hazal instituted that we should smell spices. By smelling spices, you bring him back. When you smell, usually a good smell, you get your neshama back. You understand what I'm talking? So Hazal instituted that we should come up, the upset soul, by smelling spices. So that's why we do Havdalah on spices. Nachon? Borei meorei. The third one is lighting the candle. Okay. So Hazal also institutes for us to light a candle on Motzei Shabbos. Why we obligated to light a candle on Motzei Shabbos? So Hazal explained that when Adam HaRishon sinned and eating from the tree of knowledge, when become after Shabbos finished, it became Motzei Shabbos, the end of Shabbos, and it started to get dark. And he got so frightened because he was thinking that he actually brought back Hurban La'olam, destruction to the world. And that's why there is no more light. And Hazal said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given him a sense, and he took 2 stones, and he rubbed them one against each other, and a spark came from it, and he lit in a light from it. And Hazal tell us that on that memory, we obligated to light a candle. What kind of a candle is it? That's very important. A candle that have 2 wicks. Very important. Now, if you have normal candle, you're going again to a holiday. We're coming now to December, people going on holiday. Forget to take the Havdalah candle that have 2 or 3 wicks going through. What should he do? He can take a normal candle, 2 normal candles, light them together, so it will be like 2 twigs coming together. What is the idea is that even if you don't have the light of the electricity, you're obligated to see the difference between 2 different coins. That means, lehatchila, the candle should be from avuka, a wax candle, what we call it, with 2 wicks going through. You understand? That it will be enough flame to see the difference between 2 different coins. Now there is a custom to look into the nails. Why are we looking into the nails? You know? Hakon here. But if I say the brocha, I can say it when I light it, and I can see the difference between 2 coins, to separate between hoshech, darkness, and light. But why to look at the nails? Why dafka at the nails? And I'll explain. We shouldn't, most of the poskim pasken, that you should not look at the tam. Why? So when you're doing the Havdalah, you should put the candle, the hand like this, the finger to cover the thumb, and then you look at the light. And then you see the joint between the nail and the flesh. Why is that? Why are we obligated to do it? It's not obligation, but it's good to do. So the Shulchan Aruch wrote in chapter Resh Tzadik Het, 298, verses 3 and 4, and he says, Sheyesh beze siman bracha. That when you look at your nails, it's a siman bracha. How do you say siman bracha in English? A sign of blessing. Okay, this is one idea. The other idea why we're looking at the nails, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Adam HaRishon, his skin, his flesh, was all made from a nail, to remind us, because he looked at it. You follow? That's why we do the Havdalah and we look at the nails. Ivor, you missed? Yes? Louder.
Why not the thumbs?
No, we look at the... why not the thumb, you're asking. Sorry. It's more, I saw that the Ben Ish Chai bringing that it's not good to look at it. And I think it's Kabbalistic, because the Ben Ish Chai speak a lot about Kabbalah. Okay, it's more spiritual, you understand? There's something not to look at the thumb. You follow? It's more Kabbalistic. So we see from here that the lighting of the candles is to tell us something very important. To remind us of the darkness that brought by sinning of Adam HaRishon, sin of Adam HaRishon, and now we light it. So we see from here that it's very important to do Havdalah. Now I'm going to go through a number of law, very important halachot, that's referring to Havdalah. Not many of us aware of them, but the first thing that we should be aware, that a person not allowed to eat before we done Havdalah. You know that? a person not allowed to eat or to drink before you done Havdalah. What? When do you have Saudah? You do Saudah Shlishit. But Havdalah, what is Havdalah? Rega. What is Havdalah? That you're separating and you're saying, when Shabbat departed on us, you're saying goodbye to it. When you eat Saudah Shlishit, when do we eat Saudah Shlishit? After Tfilat Minha, after davening Minha. It's still Shabbat. And that time you can't. After you daven, from the moment that you start daven Mariv, you can't eat. After you finish Saudah Shlishit, you say Birkat Hamazon, you start davening, you can't eat. And you, not only you can't eat, you can't drink. Only if there is a problem, you can drink water. But lehatchila, no. Not only that, you wanted to ask.
From how long before Havdalah must you stop eating and drinking?
Havdalah, when do you do Havdalah? After you see Shlosha Kochavim, נכון? After you make sure that you see in heaven 3 stars. Today it's very simple. Why? Because we have the Luah. And the calendar, we see everything. We understand? So, from that time that you finish to eat Saudah Shlishit, after Minha, that's it. You finish. You done Birkat Hamazon? Okay. So we say a person not allowed to eat. A person not allowed to do any melacha. Melacha is any work. So a person not allowed to do anything, any job, until he done Havdalah. The Mishnah Brura wrote for us in chapter Resh Tzadik Vav, 296, Sa'if Katan Vav, that means small chapter 6, and he bring in the name of the Magen Avraham, Rabbi Avraham Ibli Levy. Okay, and he said that when a man doing Havdalah, a woman yotzet yedei chova. That means by that a man do the Havdalah, and she heard that, it's good. She fulfilled the mitzvah of Havdalah. You follow? Not only that, אין לתת לאישה לשתות מהיין. A woman should not drink from the Havdalah wine. Why? She grow. You're laughing, huh? You're laughing, but it's true. I saw the source to it. Don't laugh. You're laughing, but there's a source to it. Very good. But there's other explanation. Very good. Ashala Kadosh bring to us a source from the Gemara Masechet Brachot. The Gemara Masechet Brachot, page Daf Mem Amud Aleph, page 40, folio 1. It said that the fruit of the tree of knowledge was grapes. So what did she done, Hava? She squeezed the grapes and she make wine for Adam HaRishon. And when he drank from it, he sinned with the sin of Etz Adam. Therefore, she's not allowed to drink from the grapes, that the wine or the grape juice, on the Havdalah. Okay? Also, this thing been brought in Kafahaim. Kafahaim, it's a book of halachot that's been written by Rabbi Yaakov Sofer. Rabbi Yaakov Sofer write in Siman Resh Tzadik Vav, that's mean 296, but in verse 1, that women should not drink from the Havdalah wine. Okay. Now, Philip.
What's the connection between the woman drinking the wine and growing the
Because
beard?
she made the wine to
No,
Adam
that's
HaRishon
what
to
I
sin
got.
from it. Therefore, she's not allowed.
So what's the connection with growing a beard?
No, that's not from that. There's another, I saw it somewhere else, there's a source that says if women drink from the Havdalah wine, she'll have hair growing like a mustache. And don't joke about it.
Sounds like the guys are rose drinking too much of the wine. I mean, seriously, that's like way up.
You don't want your wife to drink from it either. Then she have to shave a beard.
You're going to talk to
You're not going to tell her. Okay. So one day when he'll do shiur and they come to Am Yisrael High Club, by the way, we're advertising now Am Yisrael High Club, well, I'll mention that. Now, we see many people ask me, is Havdalah you have to sit or you have to stand up? So there's different custom on it. And I'm going to try and cover all the custom. I think that I'm covering all the custom. So according to the Sfaradim, when you do Havdalah, you should sit. And the Hagra, that's the Gaon Mivilna, and the Hazon Ish agree to it. And that was their custom, that when you do Havdalah, you should sit. The Rama, bringing that you should stand up. Although I see many of the Ashkenazim that also do Havdalah while they're sitting. So to say that all Ashkenazim standing up, it's wrong, because we see that the Hagra, the Gaon Mivilna, and the Hazon Ish used to sit. That was their custom when they done Havdalah. As Sfaradim, obviously, they go in according to the Shulchan Aruch, that Maran Rabbi Yosef Karo, and they doing it while they sitting, they doing the Havdalah. Now, I'm going to touch another question that can happen. If for some reason a person forgot to do Havdalah, or he was busy, it especially happened with soldiers, that if they busy on operation or they're doing something and they can't do Havdalah, what can you do? So, if a person forgot to do Havdalah or for some reason he couldn't do Havdalah, the opinion of most of the poskim that a person can do Havdalah until Tuesday. Tuesday, Rabotai. Many of them say, if you didn't eat, as long that you didn't eat, you can do Havdalah on Sunday, because many people don't eat on Motzei Shabbos, so you can do it on a Sunday. But most of the poskim say you can do it until Tuesday, but you're not allowed to do the Havdalah, okay, on spices and a candle. You do it only on the wine. You follow? And that's what the Maran Shulchan Aruch write in Shulchan Aruch in Siman Resh Tzadik Tet, that's mean 299, chapter 299, and the Mishnah Brura brought it on Siman Yutet. That's mean Saif Katan Yutet. That's what they brought, that most of the poskim agree to it, that you can do it until Tuesday, but you do it only on the wine, but you don't do besamim and candle. Any question? I'm opening to yes.
You mentioned we can't do any work after Havdalah, but I've heard people say Baruch HaMavdil Be'Kol HaShachor and then put the lights on.
Okay. No, you talk, but you're talking about something else. You're asking, the question that you're asking, how can I drive my car home? Nahon, that's what you're asking. So that's what I say at the beginning of the show. What does it say in the Gemara in Masechet Brachot, Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph, 33, folio 1, that we obligate to say twice. When do we do the Havdalah? We do it b'tfilah. Where is the tfilah? Be'ata honen la'adam da'at. Ata honen la'adam da'at umlamed le'enosh bina. Remember? So now, when you say Ata honantanu der, that's the Havdalah. And some people say also it's good to say Baruch HaMavdil ben Kodesh lechol, without the holy name. Bli Shem. Okay? So you can start the car and you can drive because you've done Havdalah. But the question that you should ask, why dafka we doing Havdalah be'amida be'ata honeh la'adam da'at? Why dafka there? You understand? So I saw the commentary that brought that they explain like this. If you look at atahonen, okay, ve'atahonantanu, they're the same shorish, the same root of the word. So Hazal instituted, and Sheikh Knesset Agdola, the member of the Great Assembly, said because it is the same roots that we're asking for forgiveness, and you're given a human being a mind to think, that's when we should do the Havdalah. Why? Because when HaKadosh Baruch Hu given us a da'at, it means a mind to understand, a seichel to understand between holy and unholy. You understand what I'm saying? And that's where we do the Havdalah and the Tefillah. Any other question? Yes?
What you can drink. If you haven't got wine, you haven't got grape juice, you haven't got beer.
You have nothing.
You have nothing. Wine, water.
Mime you can't do. But you have to do, so that's why I mentioned earlier, Clive. What did I say? There is opinion that even tea, cold tea, you can do Havdalah. Not only that, you have cold drink, for example, Coke. If you look at the price of Coke today, it's very expensive. Coke considered as a good. That's only b'di'avad, huh? Not lehatchila. That's if you stuck and you don't have. Then you can do it on those things. Yeah.
If you say that the Havdalah in the tefillah, I think you're still not allowed to drink or eat afterwards.
Nachon, that's what I say. Until you do proper Havdalah. Until you do proper Havdalah, you're not allowed to eat, you're not allowed to drink, you're not allowed to do any melacha until you've done proper Havdalah. Because the Havdalah is not only a Tahon Tanu, you have to do Kiddush, that's Borei Pri HaGefen, nachon? Then we have Borei Mine Besamim or Atzbe Besamim, depends what you do, or Atzbe Besamim. And the third one we have, it's Borei Meorei HaEsh. And then finally, Hamavdil Ben Kodesh Lechol. So we have to understand that you're only allowed to eat after you've done proper Havdalah. Any other question? No. Okay, so now that we understand a little bit about Havdalah and the importance of doing Havdalah and what we benefiting a person that do Havdalah, what he get for it, and he get to share for the world to come, Be'ezrat Hashem, we should do Havdalah, and the merit of that mitzvah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send us, Mashiach Tzidkenu Bimera, Be'amenu Amen Ken Yiratzon,